Chucker, eh?
How's it going, everyone? Hope you're doing well. It has been a while. Welcome back to the Sharp Hand Path. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan. My apologies for the long wait in between videos. I know it's been almost 2 months since I last did the ranking of the Shawscope Volume 2. There's just been a lot of stuff going on in my life recently, a lot of appointments and things. We are actually now expecting our fourth child, and it will be due probably sometime in August. So, you know, we got a little bit of preparing to do. I do plan on sticking with this channel though, and coming out with new content, hopefully at least once per month at the bare minimum. I do have 2 other channels though. I have the Black Metal Rebellion channel where I do music, and I have a skateboarding channel which I might get back up to doing videos for this spring or summer, so we'll see. But yes, today we are here to go over my Iko Uwais collection. That's right, you heard properly. It's Uwais. I know some of y'all out there are pronouncing it Uwais or Uwais. If you check on the Wikipedia page at the pronunciation part, it does say Uwais, and it tells you how to say it. I know a couple of the Google translations will try to get you to say Uwais. I don't think I've ever seen anywhere where it actually says Uwais, but from what I've looked up, it is Uwais. You're not supposed to pronounce the S. So yeah, I'll be going over my Iko Uwais collection, starting off with the 2009 release from director Gareth Evans, and that is Marantau, or in some cases Marantau Warrior, and some places even have her as Wanderer. Not sure why. Maybe Marantau means Wanderer, but as far as I'm aware, I feel like Marantau is like a city or a place. But yeah, Marantau, really good film. Iko Uwais plays a character named Yuda in it. No, not Yoda, Yuda. And also in Marantau is his kind of mentor and teacher. Forgive me if I pronounce this one wrong, but it's Yayan Ruyan, and he plays a kind of gang member or a slave trade participant named Eric. This one is really good in my opinion. Let's check out the back though. That's what the back of this looks like. I don't think the disc is anything too significant. No, not really. Pretty much what the front cover is. But yeah, Marantau, really good film. Highly recommend it if you can track down a copy. I believe I got this off of eBay. You might be able to find it on Amazon, or if you're super duper lucky, your local used disc store. The one around me is Deja Vu Discs. We also have a CD/DVD place that's in our mall called Now and Then, so maybe check your mall for a DVD place. This one was released under Magnet or Magnolia Home Entertainment. I feel that might be a Canadian release for this. Anyways, the whole premise of Marantau is Iko Uwais' character Yuda is kind of on a journey to become an adult. He trains martial arts with his father for a bit, and then they kind of send him on his way, or he goes on his way to the big city to try and start up his own Panchak Salat, I guess dojo or whatever you'd call it, there to teach people the ways of Salat. But along the way he sees this young girl being mistreated by a guy or a couple of guys, and he intervenes and saves her, which only leads to trouble for him because now he's trying to save her from an entire slave trade of gangs and stuff like that, and has to deal with them and the consequences. Very interesting. Lots of high-paced action scenes, lots of fight scenes. The ending isn't something that I would expect. You always root for the hero to win and save the day. That may or may not be the case of what happens at the end of this, but yeah, really good debut film for Iko Uwais and Gareth Evans. Highly recommend this. Love this film. Alright, moving on to the film that pretty much made Iko Uwais' career, and that is 2011's The Raid, or in this case, The Raid Redemption. Some places have a different title, probably rights issues, but the one I have is The Raid Redemption. Here's the back here. And all of these are going to be DVD. I don't have Blu-rays for any of these. I know a lot of people are pretty obsessed with Blu-ray and even 4K. I'm probably never going to get 4K. It's not necessary for me. The only reason I would ever get Blu-ray is if it's something that was shot before the 90s or especially before the 80s, because the quality is pretty hit or miss before then. But yeah, if it's anything from the 90s or up, probably just getting it on DVD. So yeah, that's the DVD art in there. So in the Raid Redemption, it's directed again by Gareth Evans, so his second outing as a director, I believe. In this one, Iko goes by a rookie cop named Rama. His mentor, Yayan, is a character or a criminal by the name of Mad Dog in this, and they actually are teamed up in here. Iko's character, at least, is teamed up with Joe Taslim's character, who is Sergeant Jaka, or Jaka. So that's pretty cool. Joe Taslim is an amazing martial artist, or at least stunt choreographer, or can take good stunt choreography. Pretty sure he's a martial artist though. And yeah, Rama, aka Iko, is a rookie cop who has a team of elite special force people that are going on a raid to this giant building, which is a territory for this kind of crime lord and gang. They have to clear out the apartment building. The original team that goes in gets just messed up, and then Rama has to take in Joe Taslim and a bunch of people to clear out the building by themselves. And there's a huge fight between Iko and his master Yayan, Mad Dog's character in this, which is really, really crazy. Him and Joe Taslim have to face him, like the most insane action, nail-biting, suspenseful martial arts that you'll see in a long time. And again, it put Iko Uwais' name on the map. The Raid Redemption is, again, another one that if you're a martial arts fan, you cannot miss out on. Alright, before Raid 2 came out was a little film called Man of Tai Chi. This was released in 2013 and was actually directed by Keanu Reeves. Pretty cool. I never thought that Keanu Reeves would be directing anything, but honestly, this is kind of a slept-on film. It's really good in my opinion. The storyline is not super complex or creative, but honestly, it does what it needs to do. Here's the back before we talk about the plot. And I might as well show you the disc art, which is literally just the title. Man of Tai Chi. So yeah, what to expect from this 2013 release. Not really much Iko Uwais in it. Tiger Chen basically uses their martial arts skills in this film to help fund renovations for his master's temple, as the city or state is trying to shut it down and condemn it for being, I guess, unsafe, or I feel like there's other political aspects for why they're trying to shut down this temple. But yeah, Tiger Chen has to go and fight a bunch of Keanu Reeves' characters, fighters. Keanu Reeves in this is named Danica Mark. Tiger Chen's character in this is Chen Lin Hu. Iko plays a small part. He's just one of the fighters that Keanu Reeves has go up against Tiger Chen, and his character is Gilang Sanjaya. Probably pronounced that wrong, but yeah, he shows up probably for maybe a minute. They have a small little fight, I believe. Or this might be the one where he chases them around for a second and don't actually fight. But yeah, he's on screen for maybe 2 minutes of time, and then that's about it. It's a shame they didn't utilize him more, because a proper fight between Tiger Chen and Iko Uwais would have been sick. However, the rest of the film was totally worth getting because of Tiger Chen's martial arts and his fights that he has to go up against between the fighters that Danica Mark sends, and then the final climax between Keanu Reeves and Tiger Chen's pretty cool, although obviously Keanu Reeves doesn't really know too much kung fu or karate or anything like that. I think he knows a little bit of gun fu and jiu-jitsu. It is what it is. It was a good choreography, so yeah, don't sleep on Man of Tai Chi. Really, really cool, kind of fly by the wind, not talked about film that Iko Uwais has a minor appearance in, but you're mostly watching for Tiger Chen and Keanu Reeves. Again, don't sleep on it. Keanu Reeves is, I think, first directed film. I enjoy the hell out of it. Need to get more films by Tiger Chen. Alright, so finally coming to the film that really everyone probably watched this collection update for is The Raid 2. Robert Meyer Burnett calls this the Rad 2 Even Radder. He calls it the Raid and the Raid 2, the Rad and the Rad 2 Even Radder. Pretty funny. It is a pretty rad film, and this one does have quite a few amped up martial arts fight scenes. I feel like even a couple of scenes that go on quite a bit too long, and some of the things that Rama faces in this, no one would be able to actually survive. But anyways, this is the Raid 2. Absolutely crazy film. The fights and the things that happen to the characters in this are absolutely ridiculous. And that opening scene with Rama in a prison bathroom taking on, I don't know, 50 dudes. Like, I'm not even kidding. They just keep piling into that washroom and he keeps fighting them in that stall. Oh, it is such a freaking good scene. So yeah. And then that yard scene where everyone's fighting in the mud, that must have been really hard to choreograph and get right, to be honest. And I could only imagine if they had to reset and do it again. I'd be completely gray if I was the director trying to film that. But yeah, who directed this? Gareth Evans again. You are the man for trying to get that together. Holy mackerel. So yeah, in this one, Iko is Rama again. His mentor, Yayan, is called Prakoso, not Mad Dog from the last one. He plays a different character in this one. So in the sequel, Rama kind of goes undercover into a prison as Yuda, which is funny because that was his name from Marantau, or Marantau Warrior, depending on which copy you got. And he befriends the Kingpin's son, Uko, and he does it in order to take down the organization from the inside. So you see him progress through prison life, befriending Uko, getting out, and slowly going through all the mob and gangster stuff, and it progresses through there, and there's a lot of insane fight scenes and some reveals. Yeah, really good film. I'm not sure if I like this one better than the first Raid. I probably like the first Raid a little bit better, but the fight scenes in this do escalate here and there, and there's some crazy gore in this as well. So yeah, highly recommend getting this one too if you like the Raid or just an Iko Uwais fan. The next one is kind of Iko Uwais' foray into Hollywood, and he only gets a tiny little part. He's a character named Prazu Ainfi, and his mentor Yayan plays a character named Tasu Leech. I'm talking about Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I'm not a huge super fan of Star Wars or anything. I enjoy it. I liked the first three, the original three that came out, and then they kind of just start dropping off after each like secular release after that. The Phantom Menace, and then the Clone Wars, and then etc. They kind of just go after that. This was an okay film. I don't mind the Rey character. I know a lot of people want to say she's a Mary Sue, which means she just kind of magically is good at everything inexplicably, but she's an alright character enough. I like the fact that they brought Han Solo back into this and had a little bit of Princess Leia and Luke in there. I'm not really a fan of what they did with Han Solo's son in this and the whole like Darth Vader wannabe thing. It is what it is, and then just kind of goes on a downward slope from there. But the couple of seconds you get from Iko Uwais and his master Yayan is kind of interesting. I feel like they're a space bounty hunter type of group that Han Solo owes money to, and they kind of come collecting and board the Millennium Falcon, and kind of things go down and people get killed. So yeah, it's like a blink and you'll miss it type of cameo here from Iko and his mentor, but to be a completionist I had to get it, whether I like Star Wars or not. And again, it's an alright film in the series. Doesn't really live up to the original trilogy, but it's better than the third movie in the prequel series, and it's probably the better out of the other sequels to this. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Star Wars series moving on after the second trilogy, I guess, or the third trilogy. Yeah, this will be the third trilogy. And that was in 2015. All right, moving right along to something that he actually was in quite a bit. This is 2016's Headshot. This one is, I'd say, maybe bottom 5 of Iko Uwais films for sure, but at least it's a full Iko Uwais film. There's the back there. Let's check out the disc. Basically the front cover art. So there's that. So Iko Uwais in this one is named Ishmael. It was directed by Timo Giacinto and the Mo brothers, and a third director that was also involved with this that I didn't write down, but I feel like Timo Giacinto and the Mo brothers are probably the most significant part of the direction team. So in this film, Iko plays, again, Ishmael, who is suffering from amnesia, and he kind of has to piece together his connection to a violent crime gang. And while piecing together his past, he kind of has to redeem himself for his previous actions and wrongdoings. It's very interesting. There's a lot of like edge of your seat moments. Will he survive? Are the people that he cares about gonna die? There's a couple of twists in here, and the plot kind of ends up going on a little bit longer than you'd expect, and the end battle is pretty wild. Yeah, there's a lot of good action and fight scenes in this. I would say if you're hesitant about it, maybe check it out on Netflix, because I believe it's still on Netflix first. But honestly, if you're an Iko Uwais fan, Headshot is maybe not as good as The Raid 1 or 2 or Marantau Warrior, but it's definitely a full-length Iko Uwais film, and you get a lot of martial arts action. So it's basically worth picking up a copy, and you probably won't have to pay too much for it. I don't remember paying anything over like 16 bucks for it. I also believe I might have got that from my local Deja Vu discs. So yeah, you should probably be able to find a copy fairly easy. All right, next in the collection is the sequel to Skyline. So Beyond Skyline 2017. This one was a pain in the ass to find. Holy crap. This isn't easy to pick up on DVD. I'm not sure how easy or not it is to find on Blu-ray, but again, if it's not before 1990 or 1980, I'm probably not going to seek it out on Blu-ray for any specific reason. The quality's fine. Anything recorded, you know the spiel. So yeah, trying to find this on DVD, pain in the ass. At least it was for someone in Canada. It took a while to track down and locate a copy in general. And then the price I believe that I had to pay for this was, I think, 30 bucks or more. Yeah, I don't know why this is so hard to find a copy, like a physical copy of, but I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with how hard it was to find a copy of this and how much I had to pay for it. Especially considering that it also has not only Iko Uwais, but it also has Frank Grillo in it. And there's quite a lot of people that like Frank Grillo, especially if you watch Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I'm pretty sure he was in that as Crossbones. So yeah, if you're a big fan of Marvel and you like Crossbones and you got introduced to Frank Grillo, you're gonna be like, oh, I want some more Frank Grillo films. And since, you know, comic book films are kind of sci-fi anyways, this is a sci-fi film. So yeah, this should be way more readily available in physical copy than it is. But I digress. So the director for this is Liam O'Donnell. Iko plays a character named Suwa. Frank Grillo plays Mark Corley. And Iko's mentor plays the Chief. So yeah, Iko's role in Beyond Skyline and Yayan's role are basically a group of survivors that Frank Grillo's character runs into after kind of being ejected from one of the alien ships in Southeast Asia. They kind of team up together near the end of the film, and Frank Grillo's alien son now at this point, spoilers, sorry, but it's a weird plot point. You'll just have to watch to see how that comes about. They team up together and try to take back the planet. Do they succeed? Well, there's a sequel, so clearly there's more to the story coming, but we'll get there. So, would I recommend this as an Iko Uwais fan? Not really. You get an interesting little fight between Yayan and Iko against Frank Grillo, but other than that, there's not really too much Iko in it. It's not a blink and you'll miss it role, because he is on screen a few times and there's some interactions and they do fight some aliens and fight each other a bit too. But I don't know, if you're just seeking out just a full-length Iko Uwais film and just straight up martial arts, this ain't it. And again, really, really hard to find, or at least it was for me when I first originally tried to get it, or about a year ago. Yeah, up to you. The movie's good. I'd give it like a 6.5 out of 10. But just again, no, it's about aliens and planet takeover stuff. It's not really about martial arts. So I'll leave it in your capable hands of whether you want to get it or not, or should get it or not. But I guess if you're a completist, you're probably going to have to track down a copy. If you want to know whether you like it before you pick it up or not, I believe it was on Netflix. You might have to go to Prime now, or maybe you'll get lucky and find it on Tubi, but I doubt it. But yeah, all right movie, and a must-have if you are a Iko Uwais completionist. Okay, the next one is a little better. I would definitely watch this one again over Beyond Skyline. I'm not really into aliens, unless it's the actual like Alien series, which Romulus, looking forward to that, is Mile 22. It's got Mark Wahlberg in it. I can't do his accent. I don't know why I try. Mike from We Watched a Movie does an amazing version of his accent. But yeah, Mile 22, released in 2018. This one was directed by Peter Berg. There's back there. This one has a couple of interesting people in it too. This one has Ronda Rousey, which, although not in the karate or kung fu world, she is a professional fighter. She's a really good MMA fighter, and her story is pretty interesting. If you've ever looked up any kind of Ronda Rousey biography or anything like that, she has a really cool story, and the way she like came up and beat everyone, armbarring the crap out of everyone. Neat. Very, very interesting story. So in this, Iko plays a character named Lee Noor. It's an N with two O's and an R. Yeah. I'm going to say Lee Noor. Mark Wahlberg plays a special ops team member named James Silva. Ronda Rousey plays Sam Snow. And Lauren Cohen plays Alice Kerr. So it's got a bit of a sort of star-studded cast there. And again, another foray into Hollywood by Iko. So good for him. I hope he got that bread. Hope he got that fat paycheck for this film. In this, Iko is an informant that needs to be escorted to the airport for extraction, which is a 22-mile stretch from the American embassy in Southeast Asia, I believe. So yeah, that's why you get the name Mile 22, because it's 22 miles before they can extract them from the country. And there's a twist. I don't think it's a foreseeable twist, but it's definitely a twist that I didn't see coming, and I'm like, oh wow, was not expecting that. Kind of sleeper Iko Uwais film. I don't like Mark Wahlberg. I think he's absolutely silly. I feel like he's on par with the cringiness of Matt Damon. My view of Matt Damon is definitely the same as South Park's view of Matt Damon, or the way Trey Parker views Matt Damon, like in Team America. Yeah, same thing for Mark Wahlberg. Can't really stand him either. Is there a movie with Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg in it together? I would have to see that just for the cringe factor alone. So yeah, let me know in the comment section if that's a thing and what the name of it is. Yeah, really good. The way they make Iko look like a badass in this is sick. There is a scene where they have him strapped down to a gurney in this hospital office place, and he just fricks everything up to the 9th degree and does stuff with glass and kicks everyone's ass. Really good. So yeah, don't sleep on Mile 22. I know Mark Wahlberg's in it. You're just gonna have to get past him if you don't like him. I know I did, but the action in this is cool. It's got Ronda Rousey in it, so if you're an MMA fan, she's in it. I still feel like she would have made a better Captain Marvel, but that's just me. Also not a fan of Brie Larson. Yeah, pick it up. Definitely worth the 15 or 16 bucks that you might have to pay for it, or even 10 bucks in it if you're at Walmart and you see it kind of tucked in those bins, those dealy bins that you got going on. I enjoyed it. But yeah, Mile 22 from 2018. The next film that I would love to own but can't, but I've seen, and I'm only counting it in this video because Netflix, for whatever reason, doesn't like to make physical copies of a lot of their films. But yeah, Netflix's The Night Comes For Us from 2018, directed by, again, Timo Tjahjanto. My apologies if I'm not pronouncing that, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it, Timo Tjahjanto. Iko in this is a character named Arian, and Yayan is in it, his mentor's in it, but they didn't really give a name for his character in any of the like the IMDb or Google stuff that I looked up, and I can't remember if they said it in the movie or not. They probably did, but I watched it once. It was hard to get through. It was a pretty long movie. It's mostly revolving around Joe Taslim's character, Ito. So you're following this character, Ito, trying to clean up retroactively this cast of crime and gang members and trying to work his way up the leadership of this crime family. People are coming for him and he doesn't exactly know why, and protect a certain girl that's in this as well from them. He was one of their special like ops people and murderers, but he's going like against that now, and it's very not complicated, but you definitely have to be paying attention because I don't believe it was in English. I think it was subtitles, so you want to make sure that you're sitting down, you got nothing else to do, you can crack open an energy drink and just focus in on what's going on here. But yeah, Iko is basically just one of these kind of specialized, talented martial arts crime members that Joe Taslim has to go against near the end. They save him for like one of the end fights, and rightfully so, because it's Iko Uwais and he knows how to fight. A really dark, brutal, gory martial arts action film. Wish they had a physical copy available for The Night Comes For Us, but again, Netflix don't like to do that for some reason. If you want to watch our stuff, you got to come to the streaming platform and do that there. They've released physical copies for a couple of their films, but I think that's because it's not specifically Netflix solely owned. It's probably like Netflix and Universal, or Netflix and Paramount, or whoever. They probably co-own the rights, so they get to show it on their streaming service, and then Universal or Paramount or Lionsgate or whoever gets to put out the DVD. And apparently that didn't happen for The Night Comes For Us. Sucks. But yeah, that's one of his films. It's good. It's not specifically focused on him, but there's a lot of action and blood and fighting and stuff. So definitely make sure you check that out on Netflix. And if there ever does become a physical copy and I get it, I'll do an update. Moving on to a film that I actually did get to buy a physical copy of, though, that is Stuber. This one, not the best film. It's kind of funny, and Dave Bautista is growing on me. I cannot stand Kumail Nanjiani, though. His type of humor isn't my thing. Good actor, you know, he's a good actor, but yeah, there's just certain types of comedy that just doesn't resonate with me. Iko Uwais in this film plays a vicious drug lord who murdered Detective Vic's partner, Detective Vic being Dave Bautista, of course, in this. Detective Vic is trying to track down Iko Uwais' character and bring him to justice, but during the process of this, he ends up having to go for some sort of like eye treatment, and he's mostly semi-blind for like 90 or 80% of the film, and he has to rely on Kumail Nanjiani's character, aka Stu, and he's an Uber driver, so Stuber, that's the whole how that movie title comes together. So yeah, he has to rely on Stu and drags him with him throughout this crazy journey, taking down criminals and trying to convince Stu to take like hold of his own life and be more masculine and stand up for himself and demand what he wants in life and stuff like that. So it's kind of a buddy cop film, but unintentional. He's like just dragging this dude along and he doesn't really want to be a part of it. His cab or Uber is being shot up and stuff. Yeah, and he almost gets shot a couple of times. This one, it's not a blink and you'll miss it, but it's more still cameo side of things for Iko Uwais. But if you're a Iko Uwais completionist like me, you're gonna have to pick it up. It's more of a comedy. There's some action, obviously, but there's not a lot of fighting or kung fu or silat in it, because we're all coming here for Iko Uwais' special brand of silat fighting. There's a little bit of that in it, and he looks odd. Does he have blonde hair in this one? They don't even show him in this at all, which is weird considering he's the main bad guy. You'd think there'd be a picture of him somewhere on the back, but no. Again, I'd give it a 6 out of 10, and if you want all his discography, you're probably gonna have to pick that up. So yeah, Stuber from 2019. What did you think of it if you saw it? Okay, and if you guys weren't here for the raid, you were definitely here for this film, and this is my favorite Iko Uwais film out of his entire discography so far. My God, they need to do another one like this. This was so good. I know some people were like, oh, it's not that great. Shut up. This is amazing. This is triple threat with Iko Uwais, Tiger Chan, Tony Jaa, Michael Jai White, freaking Michael Bisping is in it. I think he's like an MMA type guy, and Scott Adkins. Yeah, and Scott Adkins is in this. So you have so many crazy people in it. Look, here we go, right here. There. That is the lineup for this movie. Iko Uwais, Tony Jaa, Tiger Chan, Scott Adkins, Michael Bisping, Michael Jai White. Like, all of the dudes are in this. So yeah, amazing film. The plot kind of is a little bit complicated at first. The situation that the characters find themselves in at first and how they all meet is a little, you better be paying attention type of thing. But once it picks up and once they all kind of get together again, Tiger Chan, Tony Jaa, and Iko Uwais, the three of them working together, fighting against Scott Adkins and Michael Jai White and them. Awesome. And the final fight between them all, definitely worth it. It was cool to see Iko Uwais fighting Tiger Chan and whatnot near the beginning to kind of see where their fighting styles clash and how they complement each other. Pretty sure Iko Uwais and Tony Jaa have a little bit of a fight too. It's over pretty quick from what I remember, but man, this film is so freaking good. Triple Threat from 2019, directed by Jesse V. Johnson. Thank you, Jesse V. Johnson. This is a treasure. This will probably be in my list of top 20 non-Shaw Brother martial arts films of all time. Yeah, this would be in it for sure. Maybe I'm overhyping it, but this is a must-have in your collection, not just for Iko Uwais, not just for Tony Jaa, etc., but it's great. It has all the dudes and all the martial arts in here. The story might not be the most simple, but it is definitely worth getting. So what is the story? Basically, Iko Uwais, Tony Jaa, and Tiger Chan decide to take it upon themselves to protect this billionaire's daughter who has a hit out for her by the mafia or the mob for some reason. And this elite group of assassins, which is Michael Jai White and Scott Adkins' team, they have to stop that team from killing her. They just go through a bunch of different scenarios where they're sort of winning and then they're sort of losing, and then she almost gets caught a few times. They take their fight through a freaking police station at one point. Stuff goes crazy. Yeah, basically the three of them are protecting a billionaire's daughter from Michael Jai White and Scott Adkins' assassination team. What more do you need? Great film. Pick it up. And this next one, oh wait, Netflix said I couldn't have it. Fistful of Vengeance. Never got a DVD release date, but I saw it and it was all right, and it is part of Iko Uwais' discography. Released in 2022. I feel like that was not far enough ago. I feel like it was a longer time ago, but yeah, 2022. That was pretty recent. So the director of this is Roel Rene. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Iko plays Kai Jin, and Louis Tan plays Lu Xin Li. They both reprised their roles from Netflix's series The Wu Assassin. There was kind of ups and downs with that series. It was really entertaining for the first couple episodes of season 1, and kind of fluctuated up and down with some of the things going on there, and some of the medallions and Wu powers and bosses that got each power, a fire power, an ice power, an earth power, and and he kind of had to go and stop them because they're dangerous, and if they keep the power they could throw off the balance of the world and whatever. A very weird sort of Mortal Kombat-ish type of thing. Probably why Louis Tan got to play the character that he did, Cole, in the new Mortal Kombat movie. It makes sense after seeing Wu Assassins. But yeah, then they gave us a film sequel to that called Fistful of Vengeance to kind of wrap up the story a bit and kind of show you what happened afterwards. It was alright. I'm probably going to have to go back and watch it again, which would be a lot easier and more fun to do if I had a physical copy. Hint, hint, Netflix, give us a DVD or Blu-ray of that. But unfortunately, one doesn't exist, or at least not to my attention. It doesn't right now. If it ever gets a physical copy, let me know. If I'm not already aware of it, it would be good to know so I can get a copy, and then I'll also put that in an update in the future. But yeah, did you see Fistful of Vengeance? Was it kind of meh like I thought it was? How did the fight scenes fare for you? And would you get a copy on DVD or Blu-ray if they released one? Let me know. And the last thing that I have in my collection, and for some reason I skipped this before I went on to Fistful of Vengeance. This was actually supposed to go before Fistful of Vengeance, and that's 2021's G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes Origins. What is this called? Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. Alright, well, now that we got the title sorted away, there's the front cover. There's the back. And let's check out the disc itself. Just gray. Cool. They really put a lot of effort into that. But then with the money they lost on this film, I guess they couldn't afford like a colored disc. I don't know why, but this was poorly panned. A lot of people didn't like this film. It didn't make much money. And we'll probably be getting a different series in the future, which, if we're being honest, I hope they merge the G.I. Joe and Transformers series together and kind of have like a crossover world going on. Would be kind of neat. Would be interesting to see a live action film interpretation of the G.I. Joe Transformers universe kind of melded together like they did in the animation back in the day. So yeah, there's a huge potential for the G.I. Joe series and a lot of characters in there that are really cool and could have backstories galore. I enjoyed this film, to be honest. I didn't faithfully watch G.I. Joe back in 1985 or 1990 or whenever the hell this came out. I was probably 7 at most by the time I started seeing it. So I don't really have any sort of like super huge crazy ties to G.I. Joe and the canon and the lore and all that. I saw probably 20 episodes max as a kid. Anyways, what I'm saying is I felt this movie was really good and I enjoyed the characters and the story. Yeah, I don't know what the huge deal was about this that made everyone hate it so much. This was directed by Robert Schwenke. Iko plays the character known as Hardmaster. Henry Golding plays Snake Eyes. And Andrew Koji plays Storm Shadow. So those are very familiar names. Iko's Hardmaster character in this is basically a martial arts master who trains members of Storm Shadow's ninja clan, which is called the Arashikage clan. Cool name. Snake Eyes gets inducted into the clan in order to steal a medallion firepower thing from the Ashikage clan. He does, but immediately kind of goes, well, I feel bad about it, so I'm going to go put it back. But by the time he tries to put it back, he gets found out and the jig's up. They don't accept his apology and they start fighting him and they kind of clash. He kind of seems like a bit of an a-hole in this because Storm Shadow's family takes him in and train him and treat him like one of his own, and he still goes ahead and tries to steal their prized power medallion thing anyways. I feel like he should have just left it alone and not stole it. He's already conflicted. He should just not have done it, but that's where they went with the story, and they became mortal enemies, Snake Eyes versus Storm Shadow. It would have been an interesting sequel to see what happened between the two, and you kind of do get to see the classic outfit for a bit. I liked it. The fight scenes in it were cool. The training scenes in it were cool. The funny little scene between him and Iko Uwais' Hardmaster character was funny, and when he finally realized what he had to do to pass that part of the trial, well, it was nice. It was a nice little lesson. But if you're watching it for Iko Uwais, it's basically a glorified cameo. And if you're not into G.I. Joe or that series, you probably won't want to get this. But I liked it, so I'm going to recommend it. I give it a solid 7 out of 10 for this film. maybe just don't listen to the critics and decide for yourself whether it's worthy of picking up, and I feel like you'll come to the right decision. Anywho, that's it for my physical copy collection of Iko Uwais. I would say that is a fairly good, sizable amount of Iko Uwais films, only missing, obviously, The Expendables 4 and the non-physical release Netflix films. The Expendables 4 came out in 2023. I haven't gotten around to picking up a copy of that. I'm looking for a DVD copy that isn't over frickin' $20. I'm hoping it comes down to maybe 15, 16, then it'll be worth it to get for me. Because again, everyone seems to be pooping on The Expendables 4 and saying it's not worth it, saying it's some of the worst acting, and the twist with Sylvester Stallone's character is dumb or cringe or whatever and unnecessary, and was a scapegoat for Sylvester Stallone to not be in his own movie for most of it. And they didn't like how Megan Fox became the leader of the Expendables and had a thing with Jason Statham. I don't like Megan Fox, but I don't have a problem with her being with Jason Statham. I think Jason Statham probably should have been the leader of the group, because Jason Statham's pretty cool, and I want to see the Beekeeper. Definitely got to see that at some point. I hear good things about it. That's it. Let me know what your thoughts on Iko Uwais is. Is he one of your favorite martial arts movie stars out there? What's your favorite Iko Uwais film? Are you as tired of people saying Iko Uwais as I am? And look out for apparently a third installment of Skyline called Skyline Warpath in 2025. It will also have Iko Uwais in it, hopefully a little bit longer than the Beyond Skyline film, and hopefully there's going to be a little bit more martial arts in that and less weird sci-fi alien stuff. Probably not, because it's a Skyline film, but we can hope. Hopefully the next video isn't over a month from this one. I do plan on getting the Shout Factory Shaw Brothers Classics Volume 2 probably in a month and a half from now. I'll be able to order it. I'm hopefully be able to order it by the end of April. I will probably have a video before then, though. I want to do a video kind of going over my origins of being a martial arts film fan and what I originally got into to get me into it, like what I watched as a kid to get me into it and stuff like that, and my kind of chronology of what I watched getting into martial arts and kung fu films. I might do a tag and see who else wants to do it. I might call it the Martial Arts Cinema Circles Origins. But yep, that's it. Until next time, Shay, Na Shin, and one on.
We should run. We should hide. We should kick their butts.